Okay, so we're back with another set of problems to solve using the laws of exponents. So let's start with our first problem. It says 125 a to the 0 power. Okay, now 125a is not in brackets. What do I mean by that? If I had 125a in brackets and then the 0 power, everything inside the brackets would be responsible for that 0 power. In this case, that's not our problem. Our problem is that we have 125 multiplied by a to the 0 power. Now we already know a to the 0 power is 1. So this becomes 125 multiplied by 1. So 125 is our answer. All right. So don't get tricked by this. Let's look at our second problem. We have 27 to the 2/3. Now, what this means is I have cube root 27 squared. So what is 27 though? 27 is really 3 to the 3rd power, isn't it? Isn't 27 3 times 3 times 3? Yeah, so this really is the cube root of 3 to the 3rd power squared. Now, take a look at inside this bracket right here. What I have there is I have 3 cubed squared, and that's going to give me 3 to the 6th power, isn't it? As I multiply these two, so I know I have the cube root of 3 to the 6th power, which is the same thing as 3 to the 6th divided by 3, which is really 3 squared. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 3 squared is just 9. Okay? All right, let's look at the third problem that we have here. We have 56 x to the minus 3 divided by 7 x to the minus 8. All right. Now what I could do is I could take this stuff to the bottom. I mean, I see a negative exponent, I could do that. But before I do that, I also recognize I have a division and they have the same base. They have the same base. So what I could do is I could say, okay, I'm going to take 56. I'm going to keep my negative up here. Divided by, so all I'm doing is rewriting the problem. X to the minus 8. That's all I'm doing is rewriting it, right? Instead of the division, I'm putting in the sign here, right? Now I can see here that 7 into 7 is 1, and 7 into 56 is 8. So what I'm left with then is 8 x to the minus 3 divided by x to the minus 8. Now I can bring this up. So that's going to give me 8 x to the minus 3 minus a minus 8. Now I got to be careful here, right? So when I'm dividing, I have the same base, I can subtract exponents, but I'm subtracting a minus 8. So then this becomes 8x to the minus 3 plus 8. Right here I have a minus and a minus, so it becomes a positive. So this becomes 8x to the 5th power. And that's my answer. All right, let's try the fourth problem. So I have minus 5 x to the minus 2 squared. Now remember the way this works, right? It's inside the bracket, therefore everything in here is squared. So let me just separate them. So I have minus 5 squared multiplied by x to the minus 2 squared. Now I can work on them separately. Minus 5 squared is 25, isn't it? Minus 5 times minus 5 is 25. So I have 25 here. And then over here now, what I have is a situation where I have a power raised to a power. So I'm going to multiply these exponents, right? So I have x to the minus 2 times 2, which is going to be minus 4. So 25 x to the minus 4. But really and truly, to simplify this, since I don't want a negative exponent, I got to take this to the bottom, right? Because I know that a to the minus x is equal to 1 over a to the x. So this becomes 25 multiplied by 1 over x to the 4th. So the power changed from negative to positive. And so this is just 25 over x to the 4th power. And that's my answer there. All right, let's look at the last one, right? So I have 32 a to the 4th power multiplied by 8 a squared b to the 5th power. And then this is divided by 2a squared b quantity, which means everything inside the bracket squared. All right. So we can work this by parts, right? So we can choose to work the denominator or the numerator first. I would first like to make an observation, right? These right here, these bad boys right here are powers of 2. And if I get everything in the same base, that would be great. This is 32, this is 8, and this is 2. And I get them as powers of 2, that would be great. And I think I can. So all I'm going to do is rewrite this, right? Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at 32, right? And 32 is really 16 times 2. And I know that 16 is 2 to the 4th. So this is 2 to the 4th times 2, which is really 2 to the 1st. So the 2 to the 5th is 32, right? So I can rewrite 32 as 2 to the 5th. And of course, I know that 8 is 2 to the 3rd power. So in rewriting this problem then, what I'm going to have is I'm going to say this is 2 to the 5th multiplied by 8 to the 4th multiplied by 2 to the 3rd power multiplied by a squared multiplied by b to the 5th power. All right. Now I'm going to work on the bottom here. Now remember, everything inside this bracket is squared. So then this becomes 2 squared. A squared squared, so that's a squared squared, which then becomes a to the 4th, correct? That's a to the 4th, right? So a squared squared is a to the 4th. And b squared. All right. Now, I want to put like terms together. Now, if you're observing, I can take this A4 and this A4 and cancel them right here. But I won't yet, because I want to teach you this step here, right? I want to put the like terms together. What do I mean by that? I have 2's, A's, and B's up here, but they're not together. So now I have 2 to the 5th power, right? And then I have multiplied by 2 to the 3rd power, right here, right? Then I have a to the 4th power multiplied by a squared multiplied by b to the 5th power. Notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't miss any. Okay. At the bottom, they're already in order. So this is 2 squared multiplied by a to the 4th multiplied by b squared. Now, 2 to the 5th multiplied by 2 to the 3rd is the same base. So this becomes 2 to the 8th power multiplied by a to the 6th power multiplied by b to the 5th power, all divided by 2 squared a to the 4th b squared. Okay. Now, we're doing division. So if it's the same base, you're just subtracting the powers, right? So I have 2 to the 8 minus 2, because in the denominator, I have 2 squared. And this is multiplied by a to the 6 minus 4. And this is b to the 5th minus 2. So what I'm left with is 2 to the 6th power multiplied by a squared multiplied by b to the 3rd power. And there you go. So it appears to be a long problem, but it's not. We just got to take our time, go step by step, utilize our rules, and we'll be just fine. I hope this was helpful. Other videos in this and other series are available. Like, share, and subscribe if you found the video helpful. If there's a topic you'd like to see us tackle, just let us know.